My name is Dr. Martino Malerba. I'm at Deakin University's Blue Carbon Lab, and my research group focuses on innovative management to maximize carbon and biodiversity benefits in freshwater systems, in particular farm dams.
My name is Nipunika. I'm a PhD candidate working in the Blue Carbon Lab. So my role in Blue Carbon Lab is working with the teal carbon group to enhance the water quality and water security in farm dams.
So at the Blue Carbon Lab we work with farmers because we want to try to understand what is the best way to manage farm dams, so then they can of course improve productivity but also meet other targets for biodiversity and carbon and water security, water quality, and possibly even to create a better habitat for recreational activities, such as many farmers use their farm dam to go for picnics or to go for walks or hikes or anything like that. Yeah, so freshwater systems are important in carbon cycles. In fact, it's absolutely normal for freshwater systems to emit greenhouse gases, most importantly methane or even nitrous oxide. However, I suppose the issue comes where a freshwater system becomes polluted with nutrients, and this leads to unusually high emissions of greenhouse gases. And so what we think is that if we can design managements that can improve water quality, automatically you're gonna have follow down benefits on productivity for livestock or cropping, as well as reduced carbon emissions from your dam and possibly even water security. So in the farming community, clearly there is now a lot of awareness on the effects of climate change, and unfortunately farmers generally are on the front line when it comes to extreme weather events or like destructive climate related weather forecast. So it's in anyone's benefits to not just for farmers to take actions on their own, but also for the broader community to support the farming community and help them out to establish, improve their sustainable practices. So we are here as an academic laboratory to learn innovative ways where we can hopefully use nature or nature-based solutions, so then we reduce the carbon footprint of agricultural practices.
So I'll be looking into different aspects around farm dams and especially how these biological components and any other component will affect the water quality of farm dams, as well as how having a better quality in a farm dam would affect the biodiversity and all the other aspects, especially how it will affect the livestock, which is a major component in a farming system. So and also I believe that by doing this kind of research, our major focus is to develop and come up with nature-based solutions to make our farms sustainable and conserve these ecosystems for the future generations to come.
We are well aware that within a farm there are so many priorities when it comes to investing money, so clearly everything that any new management intervention needs to have a strong financial rationale, and so when it comes to our research we are focusing on farm dams because farm dams are key in a farm because they produce, well, they provide farm water security, and you know that without water nothing really happens. So
so I think as a farmer they should know, they should be aware of this concept of carbon credits, which is kind of an evolving upcoming area of research, because I think it's not just an economic benefit, but also it helps to sustain the whole environment. So for farmers, I think they are like doing something good for the environment, as well as at the same time they are getting a benefit, an economic benefit, by crediting for the carbon emissions in their farms.
To be honest, we are particularly interested in farm dams because we think that farm dams have a key role in a farm. They offer water security, and unfortunately with climate change we expect that water security is going to become more and more of an issue with time due to adverse weather conditions, droughts, floodings. So things are not looking too well on that front, and so we think that starting by managing your farm dam has a lot of benefits for farmers on all fronts. It's not just about of creating habitats for native wildlife or reducing your carbon footprint, but it's also about improving your water security, your water quality that leads to higher productivity. So all in all, I think like farm dams are a great way to invest money and time for a farmer because they will become exceedingly more important as we go on. Carbon accounting is rapidly improving, but it's still a field where there is a lot of research that needs to be done. At the moment, especially with terrestrial carbon, there are a lot of resources and organizations that will help you with carbon accounting. With other type of carbon, instead, not so much. Carbon is carbon associated with freshwater environments. We know it's very important, but unfortunately it's not yet in the radar when it comes to carbon credits or carbon accounting. So that area needs to be completely developed, and the only place to find advice would be through academic research or Landcare network or other type of sustainable farmer organizations. So there's a lot of demand for new research on carbon associated with farming, and so it's an exciting field to be in because we are on the cutting edge of understanding the benefits of managing freshwater systems or other farming activities for carbon benefits. So for an academic, that's really where you want to be, where you can, in an area where your research can have a real impact. For example, our laboratory published the estimates on carbon associated with farm dams that were published in the National Greenhouse Gas Inventory Report for Australia. So that means that is an example of doing science with impact. We are now helping the federal government to estimate emissions from aquatic systems associated with agriculture. So that's great. That's rewarding to know that your science is used for practical purposes.
Actually, I have a background in aquatic resources technology, but when it comes to aquatic, it includes freshwater, marine, and brackish water. So I found this term about teal carbon, which means the carbon sequestration in freshwater ecosystems. That's where I think I started an interest to search and look into opportunities where opportunities in an understudied area, and it's not a very common term that we all know. So that's where I started the journey because I wanted to invest, and I wanted to start my career with to finding solutions to a challenge, a global challenge, which is climate change.
I like to think that academic labs such as ours can contribute to develop financial incentives that help farmers to improve or subsidize some of the cost of managing farm dams. For example, we are working with the ACU scheme and DQ at the federal government to develop carbon credit methods associated with farmers that invest in the condition of their farm dam for avoided methane emissions and carbon sequestration. We're also working with the nature repair market, and we hope that in the future farmers could have access to biodiversity credits wherever you manage your land to increase habitats for native wildlife. You get recognized some certificates, and this will help farmers to raise funds they can then invest into transitioning into more sustainable practices. So creating a financial system that has a life on its own, and farmers can effectively have access to a trade scheme, much of the same way with like Bitcoin or trades, and you can buy or sell your carbon or biodiversity credits, and that will generate an income that can help for large-scale restoration across Australia. That doesn't depend on government grants or government subsidies. It will be just driven by industry and private properties.
Like, I think these people, like all the farmers, they are well aware of these concepts, and I think they are really interested to know more. They are very curious to learn things, and so I think that's a very good sign that we could achieve what we are looking into in coming years.